I might want to take myself off of mute before I say hi to everybody, or no one's going to hear me, but hello again. I see people are in chat. I love that, love that, love that. As you guys are coming in, if you could just hit the like button, it does help the channel grow. I will drop the link in chat if you want to join channel membership. We'd love to have you. Every time I come on when it's Friday, I always second guess myself, always. But yep, so if you could just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff, we'll get started in just a minute. We got lots of stuff to look at. Lots and lots. How's everybody's day going? I have a partner tonight. I do have a co-host. He's sleeping on the job, but he's back there. I put a blanket over him earlier, and he's been out like a light, so he looks really cute. I should have put this webcam back there so you guys could have looked at him a little closer tonight. But that's Rocky. I can't believe he's actually sitting back there. Normally, he will peace out. As soon as I start talking, I shut the door and I start talking, he'll get down and he'll want out. So I'm surprised that he's sticking around. But he's got his own microphone. He's got his own setup back there. So I think he's good to go. So I'm cool with it if he's cool with it. He's sleeping, so he doesn't have to be bothered with the dogs. So that's always a good thing. We are going to talk about Idaho for today. I'm going to switch out my notes a little bit here. So I made my notes smaller than I could even read. So that's okay though. I do have a few pictures to show you guys. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet. I meant to show them the other day on the live and I totally forgot. They're just pictures of the outside of the house now. They put fencing up around the outer perimeter of the Idaho, the Moscow house, where unfortunately 4 college students were brutally murdered in November. So I wanted to show you those if you guys hadn't seen them. They're not the best quality because I took them on my phone on a screen. You know, when you come here, you get quality, right? You get quality. But no, so I couldn't figure out where to find these online. And so I was trying to figure it out. And then I totally forgot to look them up. And I found them on a TikTok. Like somebody went around and did like a TikTok, but they have music on the background of it. And I'm afraid that I'm going to unmute it and it's going to hit that music. I'm going to be like, oh, don't do that. Because there's something else I wanted to show you guys on TikTok anyway. Let me see though. Yeah, so they put fencing of it, up. It's nothing really major. I just wanted to show it to you guys. So there's, yeah, so you can tell like it's kind of like the quality is not the greatest because I was taking a picture of a picture, but it's just fencing around the outside of it. And I can show you like around the corner of it. Like when you go around the side of the house. Oh, really zoomed in there for you guys. And then like the back, I don't know if you guys had seen these yet, but I think that, so the fencing was put up, I think about maybe a week ago, maybe less than a week ago. I'm thinking maybe they might tear it down. Or maybe they're just adding the fencing as like an extra precaution so that people won't go in the house. Because they were supposed to release the house, remember, like February 1st. And then I don't really know why they didn't, I don't know why the house wasn't released yet. They normally don't keep the houses this long. When it's any murder I've ever experienced, normally they get their evidence, they put some crime scene tape up at the door. They don't even really post anybody at the door. Like they did here, they had a cop posted for 6 weeks or 7 weeks every day. They were posted there. They usually don't even do that. They normally will just put some crime scene tape up and call it a day. So what I'm thinking is they called in a fencing company. I don't think that the cops were out here doing this. I'll show the front one again. I think that they probably just called in like some sort of fencing company. But I don't know. Do you think that they would preserve it for trial, though, Teresa? Do you think they would do that? I don't know. I just figured that they would just collect their evidence and then they would just be like, okay, good day, see you later. But they've kept it for a long time. I don't know. I wonder. That's why I was like, I'm going to bring this to you guys and see what you guys. Who ruined your day, Cheryl? I'll get them. I'll get them good too. She said she hates when people ruin her day. I do too. I really do. Really? You had 3 people tell you that wouldn't be televised? I haven't heard that yet. I hope not. It better be. I mean, if everyone's under a gag order, I don't see why not. I know that Leilani Simons isn't going to be televised because of, I guess, well, we don't have a real answer on why they're not televising it, but I think we can all speculate on why they're not televising it. She's late, but she's here, Leslie said. Hey, Doreen. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just don't know. I've just never seen him. I'm just wondering, I'm just like, I'm wondering. Yeah, that gag order's been broken. I got so many clips to show you guys, and they didn't even start where everyone thinks they started. I mean, like, we know that a couple of those articles, Miss Nancy kind of went before Miss Banfield and put them out first. Even though I love Nancy, you know me, I'm not going to try to throw her under the bus, but people are like coming for Banfield's like throat, and so I'm like, ugh. I don't see why they wouldn't televise this either, especially if everyone's under a gag order, then why not? We're just going to leave it till trial, they said. So, but then again, I don't know. Things aren't really playing out the way they should be as of right now, I don't think. Like, I mean, they are, but they're not. Just things are icky. Has the petition for cameras. I heard of something about the Chad and Lori Daybell trial today. I think it was just maybe they're in an argument or something. Are they having a lover's quarrel? It was something like that. That's so crazy. You would think that they would televise that. She wanted all that attention when she did what she did, supposedly. There should be a court live TV poll. Yeah. Yeah, like just have one camera in. I mean, I think that's good for everybody. That way it's on camera. I know that you can, you got your court reporter with the thing shoved in her mouth talking into it, but it's a little different when you got a camera there. I think it's good for the defense and for the prosecution to have just a camera in there, extra camera in there. Oh, Canada. Most trials only have one camera only. Well, so yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't think they'd have like a whole bunch posted in there, but you would think they would allow at least one camera in there. I mean, other than the court's camera. But yeah, so they have this fence along the perimeter of it. I think maybe just, I don't know what is going on with this place. So if anyone hears anything about them, because they were going to release it and then they just kind of, nobody talked about it anymore, So I was just kind of wondering. Okay. So the networks will pay them to play them. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I never knew that before. Okay. I'm going to take some of these things off. So the first thing, okay, my eye watering, guys, it is. Sorry. Sometimes I'll have like a little tear come down my eye and I don't even know it because my cheek is so, I don't have feeling in it, but I can I'll start to feel it when cold, the air touches it. Oh, you read it's being held for jury visit? Man, I'm about to move to Idaho to be on that jury. Like, really, like to be able to be impartial and to be able to be, I don't know, that would be hard. I wonder, I mean, I'm sure they'll be able to find people. They found them for a lot bigger, and I'm not saying like bigger criminals, I don't say that, but you know what I mean. They found, they found a trial for Alec Murdaugh, didn't they? So Summer said she'd love to sit on that jury. Me too. I would love to sit on that jury. I could play impartial. So I wanted to kind of, before we get into tonight's like videos, there's been a lot of talk about Banfield and Newnation and where they've been getting their sources. And I don't know what you guys think about the whole thing, but I personally, I believe the sources that are coming forward. I think that the people that are coming order, maybe there's a gag order. I don't know. There's a gag order in place. But I do feel like someone's talking. I don't know who it is. But I know certain people feel like their rights are being trampled on right now. And I mean, so just like take that with a grain of salt. I just feel like, you know, people want to be heard. I don't know. It is hard. It's hard to like not say something, I guess. If you knew something, would you be able to hold it in? I don't know. I'm not very good with secrets, I guess, am I? Banfield could probably get it out of me. She's good. But I do want to say this. We on the live the other day, before we all go after Banfield and, you know, have her blood, Nancy Grace came, so the termination like letter and that sort of step right there, like that interview, Nancy came out with that on Thursday and Banfield came out with that on Friday. So she didn't break ground on that one. So I think that they're getting their information through each other. I don't know. Not like Ashley and Nancy per se, but maybe the same sources or something. Oh, Nancy could definitely get it out of me. Nancy just would look at me and I'd be like, what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? I'd tell her anything. Yeah, Lori Daybell's another person. We didn't cover that case on this channel, but maybe we should. I mean, I followed it. Oh, South Florida. Oh, I bet that's nice. I'm like so sad now. I'm like, I bet that's so nice. I bet it was like, actually, you know what? The crazy thing is I get the weather down there. So I get the weather for Deerfield. My cousin used to live in Deerfield, so it's 74 there. I don't know how close you are, but it's beautiful there right now. I wish it was like that here. It's literally 29 degrees. It's freezing. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Teresa. The rights of the victims are most important. The victims need safe justice, respect. Oh, sorry, and keep the case not tainted is number one for these kids need justice. Yeah, they really do. And so that's why I was like wanted to lead off with that because this is actually the first one I wanted to play. This first Banfield is an older one, but it's when Steve Gonzalez came out and he was talking about the surviving roommates and what they encountered that morning. So I wanted to play this one first to see what he believed to be true. Like this was from January the 6th. So this is like more than a month and a half ago. And then I was going to play other because other people have picked up, Newsnation's like sources story or whatever it is, if you want to believe it or if you want to take it with a grain of salt. But I just went ahead and just kept it all with Banfield. That way it would just have a flow. Yeah, and I think there's just so many things that are going wrong with this case that shouldn't even be going on. I feel like, I don't know. And we'll get into that. But yeah, I think that some stuff needs to be, not talked about. I think that with them doing such a tight gag order, it's making people, kind of want to talk, I think, in secrecy. Yeah, Sandra, you're right. The Murdaugh trial has been televised. I wonder how much longer they have on that. I know. 10,000 subscribers / Titans, and I'm getting that Nancy cardboard cutout behind me. We're getting close to that, guys. If you guys could, as you guys are coming in, we are talking about the Idaho 4. If you could just like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content. We'd love to have you. And we're discussing Banfield and Newnation and, you know, the clips that have been coming out and the sources and if they're real or if they're fake. You know, I say take with it what you will. I like Nancy. I like Nancy Grace too, but I like Ashley Banfield. I trust her reporting. So I don't know. So I wanted to show you this one first because this one, like I said, is Steve Gonzalez from January 6th. This is Kaylee's dad and what he believed, you know, how the 911 call went that morning. So let me make sure this isn't too loud. I don't know if it is. Hopefully this isn't too loud when it first comes on.
NBC News, and this has been the mystery we've all been wondering about. Why did the two roommates in the morning call the police about an unconscious person when there was apparently a bloodbath in their home? And this is what we are learning that Steve Gonzalez may have told this NBC News outlet, that you've got to remember these two girls were so upset that when they went outside after seeing this, it wasn't very legible. They couldn't quite understand what the girls were seeing. He's referring to the 911 operator trying to make sense of what these two girls are saying over the phone, but he's saying that they ran outside having seen something horrible. And then he goes on to say one passed out and the other one was hyperventilating, that the message wasn't clear enough for the operator. This makes a lot more sense, that maybe those girls did see part of or some of the bloodbath in the morning and tried to call and could not get the message out to the operator. And one of them was hyperventilating and the other is passing out. And then they just say, hey, we got an unconscious person. We got an unconscious person there. I want to bring in Mark O'Mara. He's a criminal defense attorney and civil rights attorney as well. This, Mark, has been a missing piece for a long time. And I mean, it certainly helps us to understand the mystery of the morning, but there's still a lot of holes. And I just want to get your thoughts on that for starters. And then I'm going to ask you all about the defense.
Yeah, there's so much intrigue in this 6 or 8 hours that nobody called anybody. Perhaps there was something that we don't know about yet. Perhaps they were drinking, or not to impugn their integrity, but were they intoxicated on drugs or alcohol or something? That makes a lot more sense than this woman sees this attacker, or at least a stranger, in her house with a mask on, drives or walks by, and she does nothing for the better part of 6 or 8 hours. That makes no sense, and quite honestly, may well be fodder for the defense, because defense attorneys just look for anything to suggest an inexplicable event, and that's reasonable doubt.
So what about the notion that Kohberger matched one of these roommates, DM? We know it's Dylan because we've been talking about these surviving roommates for quite some time. Dylan said that he had bushy eyebrows. She saw bushy eyebrows. That's manna from heaven for prosecutors to have a witness actually give that kind of detail about a face. Not just, you know, he was 6'2" or 5'10" and a light build. It's bushy eyebrows.
No question that is going to be one of the sort of star pieces of evidence of a prosecution's case. The witness on scene can identify at least 3 or 4 or 5 different characteristics of this person. Again, this is an extraordinarily strong case of forensic tying together a noose, if you will, around Kohberger's neck already. And we've only seen 17 pages. Before we're done, Ashley, you know, there's going to be tens of thousands of pages of discovery on this case.
It's true. Okay, I got to ask you about cell phone pings, because we've been, you know, making huge hay about cell phone pings literally have a roadmap, you know, to Bryan Kohberger. But there was one line in the affidavit that I thought, I know Mark O'Mara is going to seize on that, and every defense attorney out there will seize on it. It said that his cell phone pings in Moscow, November 14th. That's the day after. That's Monday after the murders. But investigators, quote, do not believe the phone was in Moscow on that date. Well, then why should anybody believe the phone was in Moscow on any of the other days? Is that what a defense attorney will say in this case?
Absolutely. It's that one little string that you want to pull on, that seed of doubt that may grow into reasonable doubt. In and of itself, maybe not enough, but We don't know what she's doing for 8 hours. Now we know the phone wasn't there. Now we know why wasn't she saying anything. Now we know that 100 people have left DNA. Why his? There's so much more information that needs to come out. But I will tell you, if the next couple of 3 or 4 months are as good an investigative technique as the last couple of months to get us to this point, they've done quite a good job. And of course, with FBI assistance, I must say, the best law enforcement agencies in the world, they're going to tie down every loose end on this one.
Do they ever? Because just that timeline that we're looking at on the screen right now, it's got a 2-hour hole in the cell phone, right? Police say that's just when he turned it off because he didn't want to be pinged there. But he's leaving Pullman and then he disappears and then he's coming back to Pullman before and after the murders. And is that doubt or is that reasonable doubt or is that nope? Nope.
Well,
it depends on what the jury thinks, if it's reasonable or not. I have to leave it there.
Oh, wanted to put that on the other screen. That way we could talk for a second about it. But do you think, I was thinking about this and I don't know if I had a chance to ask you guys because it's been a while since we did a live on Idaho. I think it's been like 4 days. So I don't know if I asked you or not. But do you guys think that Dylan could have maybe possibly went downstairs and spent the night in Bethany's room after seeing, supposedly seeing Bryan Kohberger? Like, do you think that if she saw him, she like could have like, you know, been like, I'm going to go downstairs? Like, just, I don't know. Because that would explain her, like, maybe even been able to go into the bathroom. I know a lot of people are like hung up on that part of it. Like, who doesn't go to the bathroom when they wake up in the morning? Who doesn't wake up in the middle of the night and use the restroom? For, like, who doesn't go to the bathroom for 7 hours, 6 hours? And if she was downstairs on the first floor, that'd make total sense. If she like took her, if she saw that scary person and she took her blanket and pillow or whatever, and she just went downstairs, like to Bethany's room. I mean, Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping together. It's not out of the realm, I don't think, but I figured I'd bring it to you guys to see what you guys thought. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just wondering, there's just questions, you know, we're going to have them. That's why we're here. And because I saw actually on someone else's live today, you know how we played the neighbor saying how the front door was open between like 8:30 and 9? Well, they actually played the police chief saying that the door was wide open when they arrived also. So I don't know if it was open the whole time or if someone had closed it in between those times, or that's just a long time. That, Ray, I can't get over that either. That's really fast. I actually have a TikTok on here, and it had it down to like 9 minutes. I think I had it down to 16 on my timeline. They had it even down to like 9. And I'm like, how? I just don't understand. But let me see if I can actually, because this one was from Crime Circus. It's just like a little visual. I don't think it's music. Let me see. Well. Okay, there's no music. So I'll play this for you guys. This is from, I think it's from Crime Circus because that's what it says on here. Somebody took it like from their, like his YouTube, and they put it on their TikTok. And that's where I found it today. Oh, there goes my partner in crime. He just jumped off. Hold on one second. Let me let him out. Okay. I thought that I thought that was kind of funny. I knew he would want to get up as soon as like I got comfortable. So yeah, I think this is from Crime Circus because it says Crime Circus visual representation of the house layout and movement. In the beginning, they do place. I'm just going to let you know, just in case you don't hear them say it. They do place Dylan downstairs, but they do take her and place her upstairs in this on the second floor where she was sleeping.
In the beginning, most of us believed the two surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the second
Sorry.
floor, along with Xana and Ethan, located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the third floor. The dog was located on the third floor, and the room by itself. Let's move around and see through the walls, into the kitchen, to the back slider, and take a look at the time frames. At 4:04 a.m., the suspect can be seen trying to park his car. At 4:09, approximately 5 minutes later, he enters the house through the back slider. At 4:18, he leaves the house after committing the crimes. At 4:20, he's caught on camera driving away at a high rate of speed. All of this only took 9 minutes. Let's watch what that looks like. The suspect enters through the back sliding door. He pauses at the stairs to look around to make sure no one's up. He then turns and goes upstairs. The first bedroom he stops at and opens the door, he sees no one there. He continues to the next bedroom. Here we know what happens. Downstairs, Dylan is sleeping. The noise from upstairs wakes her up. She thinks it's Kaylee playing with her dog. She gets up and goes to the door and looks out. She sees nothing there. The suspect then continues down the stairs about 3 minutes later. He then heads to Xana's room. Outside, there's a security camera picking up some whimpering, cries, and a thud at 4:17. We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud. Dylan again hears something and looks outside her door. She sees the suspect. He walks right past her and leaves. In the beginning, most of us believed the two surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the second floor, along with Xana and Ethan, located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the third floor. The dog was located on the third floor, and the room by itself. Let's move around and see through the walls, into the kitchen, to the back slider, and take a look at the time frames. At 4:04 a.m., the suspect can be seen trying to park his car. At 4:09, approximately 5 minutes later, he enters the house through the back slider. At 4:18, he leaves the house after committing the crimes. At 4:20, he's caught on camera driving away at a high rate of speed. All of this only took 9 minutes. Let's watch what that looks like. The suspect enters through the back sliding door. He pauses at the stairs to look around to make sure no one's up. He then turns and goes upstairs. The first bedroom he stops at and opens the door, he sees no one there. He continues to the next bedroom. Here we know what happens. Downstairs, Dylan is sleeping. The noise from upstairs wakes her up. She thinks it's Kaylee playing with her dog. She gets up and goes to the door and looks out. She sees nothing there. The suspect then continues down the stairs about 3 minutes later. He then heads to Xana's room. Outside, there's a security camera picking up some whimpering, cries, and a thud at 4:17. We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud. Dylan again hears something and looks outside her door. She sees the suspect. He walks right past her and leaves.
Okay, let me do that really quick. I'm just going to grab a drink, sorry. So, do you think that I mean, 9 minutes? I don't know about that, guys. I wanted to share some more stuff with you, so I'm just going to bring the screens up. That way I don't forget. Oh, that could have been it. I never thought of it that way, Denny. Yeah, maybe. Because somebody, I think it might be, it might have been Ashley Manfield, because I've been watching a lot of Ashley Manfield tonight. But I think it might have been her, and she thought they were thinking maybe it was because they found Zaynab like on the ground. Maybe it was her, but I don't know. That sounds more plausible. Because and they are saying on here, that they're going to tell you, like, say that who they think, called the 911 and how the 911 call went down. And it makes sense that the door would be closed to that bedroom. But that I don't know. Really? Who's her husband? Kelly Pickler's husband. Cheryl, that's so sad. Oh no. That's sad. That's like the ultimate sadness. That's when you've like, that's so sad. Who was her husband, I wonder? Yeah, I think they bled out fast because I don't think they would have, I don't think they had a chance to like get help. But I just don't know how he worked that house so fast. And a lot of people are like, well, it's not a crazy layout. Okay, it is a little bit. It's a little different than your average house, than any house I've ever been in. I've been in homes with back staircases, front staircases. I've never been in one where you got like, one staircase up like straight in the front door. I've never been in a house like that before. Unless it's been like a tri-level. This wasn't a tri-level. This was just straight up. And then you go up the back and then you have a wraparound. I don't know. I've never been in a house like that. He was a songwriter. Oh, Kyle Jacobs. I don't know who that is. That's really sad. Kelly Pickler's like, I think she's a country singer. I don't listen to country neither. But she's like super sweet, I think. Like, I think I've seen her like just on, like TV and stuff. She always seemed like really nice. That's really sad. Yeah. See, Denny, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking that earlier, actually. I was thinking if he shut and he did lock the doors, like after he was done, to give himself more time. Was on American Idol. I bet if I saw the picture, I would know. That's so sad. You think he's been there before? He's had to at least look at the house layout. Like on the first time I looked it up, it was on College Pads or something. It was some random site. But it was on Zillow, but they didn't have like they only had like a few pictures on Zillow. I know it always seems like, what did they say? What's that saying though? Like, God gives like his strongest warriors the toughest battles or something along those lines. You know what I mean by the saying. And I believe that. Because some people do not deserve some of the stuff that they go through. And they still be going through it. They always come out like, it's amazing what our bodies will let us do. I hope she's okay. She's got a lot of family. I'm hopefully friends, if not family. Oh no, Cheryl, don't ever think like that. It could always be worse. It really could. I promise. Even when you don't think it can be. It can be. And they'll prove that when you say stuff like, could it be any worse? Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that, because I swear I've said that before and it got worse. And I'm like, are you really for real? I'm like, I take it back. So this second video, I don't know if you guys have seen this one. This one was on, I think this was last night or the night before. Maybe last night. But just explaining that Ethan and Zana were found by Ethan's best friend. And I believe that this is the same best friend that might have been on the documentary that we saw, like the 2020, the 48 hours, or the Dateline, whichever one. We watched all three. It was one of those where they're in like the kitchen and they're singing together. They're singing like a country song. So I don't know if that is him, but I just pray for that poor kid. I guess that's what they're going to say in this video. So if it is true and it was Ethan's best friend that in fact went in and discovered them, then I feel really bad for him. I mean, either way, I feel bad for him, but I really feel bad for him if he did discover them like that. So I'll go ahead and play this and then we will talk about it.
A lot of things, not everything, but the probable cause affidavit, some of the police reporting, and the news conferences, that's given us a small picture. But what we haven't known is what happened prior to the first responders arriving on the scene. And tonight I can tell you. You have heard that the 911 call was made from a surviving roommate's cell phone. But we can now tell you who it was who made that call. I'm not going to name the person, but it was Ethan's best friend who made the 911 call. And that's because it was Ethan's best friend who made the discovery of Xana and Ethan's bodies. And that is a very tragic and sad detail to report. Up until now, it had been an assumption that there was maybe an unconscious person because it was a guess that there was someone behind the door who wasn't answering a bedroom door. Now we can tell you that it was Ethan's best friend who had been called over that morning and made the discovery and took Ethan's pulse. Also called out to get 911 on the phone. It is more than likely that the phone that was used to call 911 was surviving roommate Dylan Mortenson's cell phone. You have probably heard up until now that it was an unconscious person that the dispatch said over the radio, but that's not unusual because when there's confusion, it's standard protocol, according to an article that came out recently in Airmail. Standard protocol, if there's confusion, just to skip the necessities of getting clarity and just dispatch the first responders for an unconscious person, regardless of what the actual situation is. So for anyone getting caught up on an unconscious person, probably not a good idea, given the fact that that's just sort of a standard description for get moving. We need people on the location. Again, this is multiple sources tonight with knowledge of the investigation telling us about who made the discovery of Ethan's body and then, of course, of Xana's body. What I can tell you is who made the discovery of Maddie and Kaylee on the third floor. I'm not sure if it was any of the other kids who were called over. What is interesting about this whole scenario that played out that morning was that kids came over to the home and then 911 was called. So who knows if there was any knowledge of the carnage that had taken place in that home before the kids came over. I mean, it's college, right? It's Sunday morning after a fun Saturday night. And maybe, just maybe, kids were coming over to, get together and go out for a Sunday brunch. But some kids who are unidentified at this time went over to the house that morning, and it was Ethan's best friend who made that discovery and took Ethan's pulse and yelled for them to call 911 and ultimately got on the phone on Dylan Mortenson's phone and talked to the 911 operators. I want to bring in Newnation senior national correspondent Bryan Enton. Bryan has been at the forefront of reporting this story. It's such an uncomfortable detail, but it is one piece of the puzzle that we've been trying to figure out in terms of why it's so complicated, that scene the morning of the murders.
Yeah, so much of this has been confusing based on the reports we've gotten from police. There have been so many holes and things that they haven't shared. I think beginning with your exclusive reporting last week, things started to make a little bit more sense in terms of surviving roommate Dylan and the fact that she may have thought that there were noises coming from upstairs, but not necessarily noises that meant that something bad was happening or that a murder was happening. That started to explain why she may have not initially called 911, in the middle of the night. Your exclusive reporting sort of shed light on that. And now I think this sort of continues to, again, put the pieces together now to know that there were people who came to the house that morning. And it would make sense, what you said about the unconscious person, that may have just been a categorization that the 911 call was put under. But certainly tragic, as you said, to think that Ethan's best friend, took the pulse. I mean, it's all just so heartbreaking.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
We used to. I was reading the comment section because that's what we did that Sundays brunch, drinking. So, because the college that I grew up near was Ohio State, so Saturdays was game day. You just literally could walk out on campus anywhere. Just there was doors open. It didn't matter. And then the next day you go for brunch. You get a mimosa or a Bloody Mary, and then you'd feel better for a little while, take a nap, and then you'd be ready to do it all over again. And then nowadays, I couldn't even have a Bloody Mary right now, and I'd probably be done for 3 days. So mimosa time. But yeah, that's what I think. It was just a reason to drink. But I don't know. I figured I'd show these to you and see if what you guys thought of them. Because other news, news syndicates are running with these stories too, not just News Nation, but they are the people that have brought it out first. And then if you guys didn't check out my airmail part 3 came out of those articles that we were reading. So I went and I did a pre-recorded of that. It's only a 9-minute read this time. Whew, thank God. The last one before that was a 29-minute read. So if you guys haven't checked that out, it's available to check that out as well. So, okay, finish that one. Then the second video, or the third video I'm going to show you, this one, she brings on, I cannot think of this guy's name, save my soul right now. Mark Garagos, that's his name. I don't really know him. Did you guys know him from any other cases? Mark Garagos? The Buckeyes. Yeah, ew, Buckeyes. That's where my boyfriend went too. He came all the way from California to go to Ohio State, and then he never left. I wheeled him in, and I just reeled him in. I said, "You ain't going nowhere, buddy." And he had to give up the sun, the beautiful weather. No, I'm just kidding. No, he didn't have to, but. All Michigan State, well, we all like Michigan right now. The state of Michigan's our friend. And Ohio is not really our friend right now. We have some stuff going on in Ohio. I don't even know what's going on around here. We got balloons going overhead. We've got train derailments. We've got our governor. I could do a whole live on that. I'm not into politics, but I am into getting stuff that's due to me. So I could talk politics. Did he, OJ, is that what it is? Okay, that's where I've seen his face. You're right. I should have known it. I should have known it was, yeah. I'm only 37, but I did grow up with the OJ Simpson. It was on TV. My dad was a true crime buff, so OJ was just on when it was on. So we knew all the players too, because my dad was constantly screaming at the TV. So she's bringing him on to get his input on this. So, and I'm bringing you guys in to get your input on all of it. See how we do that? Oh, Scott Peterson was represented by him, and Michael Jackson. And he was part of it. Oh. I knew he looked familiar. Man, you guys, all I have to do is ask, and you guys always come through. It's been cold. A super bloom is coming this spring, though. Like a super bloom for the poppy flowers, or just like a super bloom in general. Because I know you guys are known for your poppy flowers. My store, I have a boutique store, and it's Poppy and Ari. That's where the poppy kind of comes from. Sort of. I had the name first, and then we decided it's the flower of, yeah, poppies. Yeah, I've never been to a poppy field. Yeah, I've not been out there, and I own a store named Poppy and Ari, and I've been out there twice since I've had my store. So I'm gonna have to come out there and go to poppy field. Every time we go out there, we're in LA, so it's kind of further out. Like the poppy fields are like 4 hours, 3 hours from there. It seems like. So I need to make it to a poppy field before the world does go to hell in a handbasket, because it really is. I need to get over there to the poppy fields. So it's going to be a super bloom this year. Hear that, Vincent? Super bloom. Super bloom. Any reason to go. Any reason to go to LA or to go to California, because the sun is just magnificent. So, yep, I'm going to go ahead and play this. I can't believe that's who that guy is.
Who actually made the discovery of the bodies. It wasn't first responders who discovered the bodies. Up until now, we'd always assumed that perhaps they were behind locked doors, and that's why the roommates had called, "We can't wake our friends up." But it was Ethan's best friend. Not only that, took the pulse, called out to call 911, and ended up talking to 911 on Dylan Mortenson's cell phone. Does that matter? There's so many details that are being held close to the vest, Mark. And I just want to, from you, find out if it really matters to the investigation. Does it matter to the rights of the defendant in this case, these kinds of details that are all being gagged?
You know, I've always had, Ashley, and you and I have been around together doing various cases for many years, ones that I've tried and ones that you've covered. And one of my frustrations in defending these cases is when you clamp down on the coverage, and you do it by way of a gag order. And you'll remember many years ago that started during Michael Jackson and Scott Peterson and then Kobe Bryant and it was basically the same gag order that was kind of circulated, even though it was in different jurisdictions. And the frustration is that gag orders were originally, when F. Lee Bailey did his case many, many years ago, that put him on the map, and it was to protect the defense. Now what it does, I think, in my humble opinion, is that it works to the detriment of the defense. And what ends up happening is you might be able to gag the lawyers, they're under a duty, but law enforcement leaks. Other people leak that are connected, that may have documents. I mean, the DeLorean case, I remember the paralegal leaked for the defense. And so what ends up happening is you get all of these kinds of urban legends that kind of flow to the case and to the populace. And there's no way to disabuse people of that. Even when you do jury selection, they just don't, they think they understand things, and it's very hard for people to disabuse themselves or set it aside. I always think in these kinds of cases, more information is better than less.
You know, and I just want to touch on that, because there is a healthy debate among people who are looking at this case.
He's a lawyer, right? Because I don't get that part where he says more information is better, because I've never heard a lawyer ever say more information is better. Normally lawyers tell you to shut your mouth. Oh, allergies. Oh, no, allergies are bad up here. Teresa, you're in Florida. The allergy, you should be good on allergies. But yeah, I'll keep playing him. So that's why he brought up, because he was bringing up old cases, and he brought up Kobe Bryant, Scott Peterson, and someone else. So that's because he represented those people, OJ. So gotcha now.
Case, the First Amendment versus the Sixth Amendment, the right to a speedy trial and a fair trial, an impartial jury. But we also have a transparent system of jurisprudence in America, and that is very important. You know, that's something that not a lot of people talk about as well. And I wonder, from your perspective, because you've covered these famous, infamous, I should say, defendants, if you can get a jury for OJ, if you can get a jury for Casey, if you can get a jury for John Wayne Gacy, even, I'm going back a bit here, but do you know what I'm saying? If you can get a jury for those people, is there a danger of protecting a jury pool too much to the detriment of our system in America, where we just don't put people in black hoods and throw them in a gulag?
So I've had this argument for decades, and part of what the argument that I've made in response is we have reached a point where we have supersized cases. Idaho is a supersized case. So if you're going to import kind of a tabloid model, and I don't say that in a pejorative sense, I say it what originally kind of developed in England, then why don't we have what's called the Contempt of Court Act, which they have in England, which is as soon as this trial starts, they clamp down. Now, you say, well, that's not part of the American way. Well, then there is another alternative. The other alternative is, well, once you start the trial, sequester the jury. And why I say that is, if you believe the jurors when they tell you they're going to set aside everything they've heard, which is great. I want jurors who have a presumption of guilt many times because they're being honest with me and they'll set it aside. But if they're going to do that, then I want to be able and I want to be free outside the presence of the jury to argue that evidence should not come in. You take a look at the Murdaugh case. There was so much testimony for the motions in limine outside the presence that seeps into the ether. Jurors are going home each night. I've never got a high degree of confidence that they don't hear what was presumably excluded. So if they're sequestered, I think that's the magic silver bullet.
Okay. Well, Mark Aragos, I'm always fascinated in what you have to say because, like I said, you've been there. You've been in the courtroom with very famous people as defendants beside you. And so you know from the other side what it's like. Thank you for this tonight. Look forward to our next time.
Thank you, Ashley.
So what do you guys think about that? I don't know. I don't think that they should be giving out us like, I don't know. I think that during trial, I think that the lawyers should not be under the gag order. I think they should be able to talk and argue for their client, of course. But I don't know. This gag order is eating me alive because I want to know everything now. I don't like to wait. Patience is a virtue that I don't own. I'm trying to read the chat. Sorry, I got kind of quiet. So the next one, I was going to show you. I'm taking my makeup off. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. But the next video that I wanted to show you guys was actually of Bryan Eaton and Jennifer Coffendorfer on the pay. They're going to go over the pay rate of Ann Taylor. Now, I don't know if this is, so they're paying her $200 an hour. Now, I know for a fact that she's getting paid more to represent Bryan Kohberger than if she were to be, helping Kara Kernodle out in her other case, like her case. And then her co-counsel for this case is making $180 per hour. So I don't know. You guys give me your thoughts on, do you guys think that's a lot of money if it's a death penalty case? And does so if she's making $200 per hour now, if they decide it is a death penalty case, does her salary go up even more? Because I didn't know that's how that went. I thought that you were like, I guess as a lawyer, you can make your rate anything you want. But if you're a public defender, how does that work? That's what I don't get. Like, if you're a public defender, how can you say you have to pay me $200 per hour when public defenders are for the people that don't have funds? $200 an hour, that's some funds. Isabel said she makes $1 million per hour, but then she woke up. She probably woke up to me saying, it's time to go live. No, you don't think it's a lot for a quadruple? Because, and I don't know if they say it in this one, if they say it in this news clip here, but someone was saying that they didn't feel like that 200 was, a whole lot of money. But they also said something about the officers make a certain rate. So say, Officer Tanya goes there for a quadruple murder, she's going to get paid the same amount if it's one body or if there's four. So I think that's where they were kind of having like a problem with the money. I don't know. So I'm not a lawyer. I have a lawyer and he takes a certain percent. And if he doesn't want to take that percent, he'll take less if he's feeling generous. But that's but that's if he's feeling generous. He's only done that once. But, most lawyers have a set rate though. So I don't know what her set rate was prior to this. They may say it actually in this. So I've listened to these all before I came on here. I swear I did, but I think I've listened to so much Bryan Kohberger stuff lately. It's all like smashing up at this point. So this is going to be, like I said, Brian Eaton and Jennifer Coffendorfer. They're going to go over the pay rate of Ann Taylor. Looks like she was going to be making, like I said, $200 per hour, and her co-counsel was going to be making $180 per hour. Before this is like on just a 40-hour work week too.
Is Jennifer Coffendorfer, a friend of mine, former FBI agent who's been following this case very, very closely. All right, Jennifer, let's start with this new development today of what the public defender is getting paid. I saw you just tweeted about it. What do you make of it?
I was very surprised, and let me tell you why. She's a government county employee. I can tell you that the law enforcement officers that were investigating that case, those 60 FBI agents, the state detectives, their salaries did not get doubled because they were working a quadruple homicide. I've been trying to research. It's been a short period of time that I've known about this. I've never known of something like this to happen with a public defender, to have their salary increased. Her previous salary was noted as 119 to 172,000, probably dependent on overtime figured into that. And now she could be making about 384,000, and that is without overtime. And her co-counsel making 180 an hour for 40 hours. So this is big, Brian. It's a lot of money, and I don't understand how they can do it.
Yeah, you make a good point. I hadn't thought about that. The detectives don't get paid more money or anything like that. But I will say we have to remember this is a death penalty case. It takes a lot of expertise. It's a difficult case. I called a few friends of mine who were in the field before this, right when we found out. They weren't terribly surprised. They said they would have thought the number may have been closer to $100 an hour. But certainly when you add it all up, and $384,000 a year, I think that came as a surprise to a lot of us. Okay, let's move on. Ashley Banfield has had a lot of exclusive reporting over the last week or so. Last night, really a big development with what she reported about the 911 call. She says that according to her sources, it was Ethan's best friend who made the call from Dylan's phone. You'll remember that was the morning after the murders. We didn't know who made the phone call. Now, according to the sources, it was Ethan's best friend. Why do you think that's important, and how do you think that sort of fits into what we already knew, Jennifer?
Well, of course, this was information that was kind of dribbling through social media very early on, and now we have a source also reporting it. It's going to be important, Brian, to know who all was there. Law enforcement obviously already does know, but all these details are going to become very important to the timeline and to also who was in that crime scene right after those murders were committed and before law enforcement was there.
Yeah, and we've got the gag order now, which explains why a lot of people are not talking. But it also sort of makes sense why so many of these people involved weren't talking even before the gag order. We didn't realize at the time, but a lot of them apparently are witnesses in the case.
Absolutely. They're witnesses, and they're important witnesses. And it's important that they're not out in the public talking. It can really taint their testimony later on if they even make one statement that doesn't seem to go with another statement. That's a defense counsel's dream and a prosecution's nightmare.
So when we had the affidavit, Jennifer, there was the line about Dylan being frozen in fear. That, you know, when all of this was happening, she saw a man walk by in a mask and was frozen in fear. And there was a lot of confusion about what took so long to make the 911 call. But when you piece together some of Ashley's reporting, her reporting is now indicating that Dylan didn't necessarily know that something bad was going on upstairs, that there were just noises, that, you know, it was a party house. It may have been something else going on. And perhaps that's why she didn't initially call. And then now we know that it was Ethan's best friend who used her phone to make the call and made the discovery. How do you think all of those new tidbits fit into the timeline? Does it make sense to you?
Well, the bedrock of this case in terms of what we have in the public as far as facts is that probable cause affidavit. That's the cornerstone of the case as we know it right now factually. If you look at that, there were 3 different times she opened that door. And so these statements that are being made by the source certainly make sense with her first time she opened the door, where she talks about hearing possibly Kaylee playing with Murphy. And possibly there could be more that was stated. Remember, Bryan, in these interviews and the interview of Dylan Mortensen, it is going to be pages long, possibly hours long of recorded interview time. So the PCA just has a small snippet of what was said. So I think both statements can be true, but the bottom line is I do believe she was frozen. She was terrified when she saw that figure in her doorway.
Yeah, it's a good point that she opened the door several different times and may have had a different reaction each time. Jennifer, thanks so much for coming on tonight. It's always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And
So, okay. Yeah, I was trying to read your comment. Sorry. I know, now that I'm thinking about I'm trying to look up public defenders, and their salary. Cause I don't know if $200 an hour really sounds like that much. I mean, that is a lot of money, but if you're thinking about it, I don't know. Would you guys be able to, I don't know. Would you guys be able to be Bryan Kohberger? If he did this crime, could you be his lawyer for $200 an hour? Could you get him off? I just don't understand how defense lawyers can hear, I didn't do it. And then they have to know in their heads, like, this guy did it. But how am I going to get him off of it? Like, I just don't understand that part. I couldn't probably be a defense attorney. But I do like to argue. Coffee and Conversation said average criminal defense attorney charges $300 an hour. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I'm just like, I don't know. I was looking up public defenders in Ohio, and of course they didn't bring them up in Ohio for me. They brought them up in California. And they were bringing them up per year, what they made per year. $145,000 per year. Alameda County. Oh, there it is in Ohio. $58,000 per year. Now that does not sound right, but that's what Indeed is saying. If I were to him after the 3rd floor opening and seeing walk by and leave, wouldn't you run and lock the door so he couldn't re-enter? That's a good question. Yeah, that is a good question. Why didn't she lock the back door? She said, I think she just locked herself into her room. But Jim Bob, that's a really good question. Why wouldn't she? I mean, maybe she was too afraid to walk out that far. And she just locked her, bedroom door and was like, oh, gonna just step back here and not worry about life for a minute. But that's a good question. Because I was wondering why Zaina's dad came. I know I say her name wrong. I know everyone always gets me in the comment section. But her dad came and fixed her bedroom lock that weekend or the weekend before. But I was wondering because they had the chairs set up to where it looked like they were holding the back door closed. why he wouldn't fix the front door lock or the back door lock if either of those two locks were broken. Like, instead of just fixing her bedroom door lock, if I was a father, I would be like, okay, I'm going to fix the back door lock or the front door lock. Because it looks like, from what we've even heard from other students, that the front door lock, the code didn't work. Everybody could get in. And then, as far as we know, those chairs were sat back at the back door to keep it from being opened in some sort of fashion. You heard a lawyer in Tampa charged $2,500 an hour. Woo. I don't know what that. I don't know. It says no clue what that gets you, but damn, who can afford that? Somebody with a lot of money. Man, now I wish. I'm about to call my cousin, because I think the most expensive thing that in our family would have been my aunt and my uncle's divorce. It was 10 years long. It took them 10 years to divvy everything up. I wonder how much their lawyers were. I'm about to start texting my family and be like, okay, need some price check. So I would say 200 is probably, I don't know. $200 an hour is probably pretty typical. If you're thinking about it, I wonder how much Murdoch's lawyers are getting paid. Yeah, Zaina's dad said that, I thought he said that he went there and fixed it. I think Zaina's mom said Zaina's dad went there and fixed her bedroom lock in one of the first interviews that her mom came out and did. I'm just wondering, he fixed her bedroom door. I'm wondering why he didn't fix the front door, because we've all heard that that door lock is broke. And then it looks like even the back slider door appears like that is even broke, because they put in chairs to keep it from being opened. That's what it looks like anyway. Like they put the two metal bar stool looking chairs in the back of the slider door. So that's why I thought maybe they did that. So next one I was going to show you. I think this is when she brings dude back in. The lawyer that she was just talking to. I can't think of his name again. I'm like so bad with his name. But you know who we're talking about. OJ's old lawyer, now that I know.
I'm coming back with some more exclusive material on the Idaho murder, so I hope you will stay through the next.
And this came out last night, I think. So I believe. Let me just go down. Yeah, this one came out last night. And then this is going to be, they're going to be talking about, I was trying to see what they're going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about the conflict of interest and stuff. So this is what came out last night. So basically, it's not like, I mean, it is truth, because I think that, I can look it up. I mean, I'm not sure if the documents are on the Idaho site yet or not, but I can look. But that would be easy to debunk. But I think that, so in this video, they're just going to say that his lawyer met with the judge, and the judge decided that there's not a conflict of interest here, with Ann Taylor representing Maddie's stepmother before, her father, and then Zaina, Kara Kernodle, Zaina's mom. So I personally think that there's just too many things that could be messed up in this case, to where you should have I think they should just get another lawyer for it. That's just my personal opinion. Kardashian, actually, I think he went back to get his bar license. I think he went to pass the bar again to be an attorney for OJ. I think Robert was already done practicing at that point or something. He's the one that snuck out the bag. We all know that bag. I know that bag. We know Robert. It's okay. May you rest in peace now. But I don't think, I think that maybe he wasn't even like barred. Like maybe he didn't even have his bar license still, and he just sat there. But it was something like that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't this crazy that we can actually sit here? We could talk about a case that, how long has it been since O.J. Simpson? 30 years or something. And we can all talk about that case like it was yesterday. Yes. So I think actually, I think that's the same thing with Idaho. I think they have some Pacific time. Oh, look, Rebecca just said that right there. I didn't even see it. And so Idaho does have Pacific and Mountain. The only reason why I know is just like the Michael Vaughn case is Mountain time. This case is Mountain, I believe. I thought there was another one. Maybe Jared Lysick might be Mountain. But there's a few. Oh yeah, the Juice OJ. Yeah, he went to jail. He went to jail for what was it, burglary? He stole his own memorabilia back. Not to get off case topic, sorry guys, but it was in 94. I think you're right, Cheryl. So I'd have been like 9. That makes sense. But I was like, you're gonna watch this, it's fine. That's Utah. Okay, so maybe it's not Mountain then. Oh, Jared Lysick is Utah, I can't remember. Because I think there was like Oregon and Utah or something with him. They're all in that same corridor. I think so too, Susie Blue. I think Ann Taylor should just recuse herself. I think it's just better for everybody involved. You don't want any little slip ups. And I want to make sure he has the best counsel that can represent him. I bet you Garagos did think, I think probably everybody that sat with OJ knew he was guilty. I don't know.
But tonight I'm coming back with some more exclusive material on the Idaho murder. So I hope you will stay through the next ensuing moments. I think this is one of the most important issues that has come across the radar in the Idaho murder case, because I like criminal procedure. I've been, kind of steeped in it for a long time, and I cannot stand when something gets overturned on appeal. I can't stand it because sometimes it's so preventable, right? Especially if you know in advance and you do something about it. And I kind of see something percolating here. The experts know better, and they're having a field day arguing online about this. And so I know it's a really important issue. It has to do with conflict of interest. I know we've talked about it before, but I have some breaking news on this tonight. So the issue has been Bryan Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, right? She showed up and walked into court with him the very first time. She's a very accomplished attorney. Holy cow. She's got some real scores under her belt, right? So she's good. She's also a
I'm glad someone brought the DoorDash thing up because I forgot about that. So DoorDash is dirty. They've been doing you dirty. Okay, so normally we DoorDash where I live. We DoorDash here probably, I don't know, a couple times a week, I'd say. So we have a button that it's a call button. You just press it, and then we let you in, beep, easy peasy, leave it at our front door. We don't have to walk out into the hallway or anything really. Just have to open the door. Well, DoorDash, I don't know what their thing is now. If it's like to run as fast as you can from the food and not alert the people inside because it's like a game now or something. Because they never ring our doorbell anymore. They'll send your phone an alert, right? But if your phone is on silent, then forget it. So today our food sat outside for 10 minutes before Vincent realized that they had already came and showed up. They didn't even buzz the front door downstairs. So it was outside in the cold, I think it was 22 degrees today. So that was not cool. Then last night we did DoorDash. So I don't know why we did it today after last night. I'm going to tell you last night what happened. Vincent got a bacon cheeseburger from Wendy's. You know what he got when we got food? When he opened it up, he got buns. He got a top bun and he got a bottom bun. They forgot the bacon. They forgot the hamburger. They forgot the ketchup, mustard. They forgot the mayonnaise, the onion, the pickle. They literally gave him a bun. I laughed so hard I was crying. It made my whole night. It was right after the live. So yeah, right after the live, I was so hungry. And so yeah, he literally got a bun. So with that being said, I think that they probably just dropped that food and left. So I'm assuming it would have had to have been, I'm thinking it was Zaina that got the food because she would have got the alert, or Ethan, or she said, hey, Ethan, go grab my food. I could see her doing that because I could see me doing that to Vincent. You know, hey, go grab the food if he was awake. So let me know what you guys think. Was Bryan working at Wendy's last night? If he would have got lettuce, I would have said that. He didn't get nothing. And it was like he knew. It was like Vincent knew, like before he opened it, because he was like, "Oh no, they didn't." And because I laughed. Oh my God, that's what they had one job. I said, "Who the hell went to work high?" Like, what do you got to be on to forget that? Like, because you have to put the top bun on the bottom bun. Like, so you have to literally look at the bun. Oh, it was good. It was glorious. So let me know if you're watching this on replay, let me know your best DoorDash stories. We did call I made him complain about that. So he got some of his money back for the food, which he should have got it all back. And then they probably should have just like gave him extra money because the food was that bad. But it literally had nothing on it, just the hamburger bun. And he was eating the bun. He actually ate the bun. He's not right. I'm sorry. Everyone's going to be watching this. Going to be like, what is Tanya laughing about? But that was some good stuff. Like, because I've always seen those pictures or those TikToks where like the food is real bad looking. Like, you know, the hamburger's like messed up, or, you know, like the mayonnaise is there's just too much. But this was just like nothing. It was so bone dry. It was like they just picked up the bun and wrapped it up. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking they probably were ready to close because they said their frosting machine wasn't working either. That should have been our first inkling. They're starting to turn into McDonald's. I don't know what we did so wrong to get that, but I'm going to keep playing this one. But that was some good stuff. So I think with DoorDash, they just literally, I guess it's in the name, DoorDash. Let me know if any of you guys, where you guys live, because I think, this is what I'm thinking. I am thinking in the DoorDash handbook, it probably says that you have to knock and wait a certain amount of time to make sure that the order is properly given to the person. I'm pretty sure that in the DoorDash handbook, it doesn't say drop the food and ring the doorbell, and if they come and get it, they come and get it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking that they're just getting a little, they're just slacking on the job. And I'm like, it's all you have to do is ring the doorbell. I'll come down. Oh, you can text the driver. Oh, I didn't know that. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'll yell at you for knocking. Really? Oh, man. No, I wouldn't. I'd say you can knock. You can knock. Just don't scare me. Which I have a Ring doorbell too. We have one, like we're good. I mean, I'm not worried about that, but I just didn't want them to leave my food outside. At least leave it on the inside of the door. There's no handbook or orientation or training for DoorDash. Man, there needs to be. I need to invent that then. Because I feel like there's always a training opportunity.
Leader in the public defender's office. So looked like it was a pretty good match, especially for a case that was important as this. Could be a death penalty case. I'll repeat, could be a death penalty case. You have to have a star, but you have to have a clean star. Someone who has no conflicts in her past representations. And along came the fact that she had indeed represented the mother of Kara Kernodle, one of the alleged victims of Bryan Kohberger, her client, and then two other parents of the victims, right? So that, all of a sudden, it's like, it seemed so clear. Well, you cannot have represented the children of parents who are now going to be in that courtroom watching you defend their child's alleged killer. You can't. And yet there's some wiggle room. But with all of the conflagration that happened, it turns out now there has been a meeting. And we have sources close to the prosecution who have told us that Ann Taylor has had a meeting with the judge on this exact issue, the conflict of interest issue. Private meeting, behind closed doors, discussing all of the issues. Likely she was called in to lay out, tell me everything you did with client A, client B, and client C. Tell me everything so that we can exclude the possibility of a conflict. And in this review process, my source has told me that it's been cleared. No conflict, according to the judge. So is that it? I mean, Kara Northington, Ben Mogan, Corey Hatrock, all parents of the deceased victims in this case, all had Ann Taylor on their cases, right? So it is such a curious issue. What did she tell the judge? Like, what did she lay out to the judge in order for the judge in this case to say, nothing to see here, no conflict problem? Did she see our interview? Did the judge see our interview with Ann Taylor's previous client, who she dropped on the very day she showed up in that courtroom with her brand new client, Bryan Koberger? Literally dropped her former client, Kara Northington, that's Xana Kernodle's mom, dropped her that day. And they were still active, like it was still an active pending case. By the way, Kara Northington had no idea that this had gone on. She had no notification of it, she told us. And did Ann Taylor know about the interview that we conducted on this program with Xana's mom, in which she laid out that she was gobsmacked by all of this, that she had no idea? Thank you for watching.
There's like, I think there's a conflict here. Even if you don't count Maddie's father or stepmom, if you just go solely based on Kara Kernodle experience, she's been her attorney, even if it's just a public defender, since 2017. That's 5-6 years that she's been in the court system a lot of those years, because we've seen it. We looked it up, I think, on one of our lives. We looked up her, some of her stuff. So she's been with her for a while. There's definitely a relationship there. Not only is there a relationship there through the court system, but she gave her power of attorney. Like, I don't care in any capacity I don't care what capacity you're at when you do that. That's like signing your life away. So you have to like trust somebody at least a little bit to do that. I think that maybe, she should recuse herself. I would if I was her, but that's not what pays the light bill, I guess. So that's probably because she literally the same day that he went to court, the 5th, I think it was the 5th or the 6th of January, she recused herself from being Kara Kernodle's attorney. She didn't even give it to her by phone. She didn't give it to her by any messaging. She sent her, I think, something in the mail that didn't even get to her. She ended up finding out from Reddit, from a friend through Reddit. So, you're with two of the victims' parents, a step parent also. I think that's a conflict. I think she should, and there's 13 other attorneys in the state, and I don't care. You can get another attorney up there to northern Idaho or whatever and put her in a hotel for a little while. You're going to have to probably do that with jurors anyway. You'll probably have to bring them in from another town because that town's very small. So, I don't know. Yeah, people sometimes they have to. Yeah, sometimes you just have to recuse yourself. When that happened, I think Jason, OJ's son, was pretty young when that happened. I thought he was a teenager. I didn't know that the Delphi judge recused himself. But, but Delphi is really they've really played their cards really, really well, I feel like, with their investigation. I know that, it took a long time and it was somebody in the neighborhood, but I feel like that case is all falling into place very nicely. Where was I at? We just played this one. Okay. And then our friend's back again. And then this is like the last one I think I was going to show you. What's this? Oh, yeah. I was going to show you that after this one. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is the last video I was going to show you of Banfield, because I'm sure you're probably getting sick of looking at her too. I love her, but I've watched her all day. He would have been 24 back then. He was, 1970. I was born. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, 24. Ooh, he looked so much younger. I know, right? It's crazy, Teresa, that they end up getting him, like a few years later with burglary. Not like getting him with anything, but I think, what was it, 30 years he got for that? I mean, it's not like it's 2 counts of murder like he should have probably been, convicted of, but he did have to, go to prison. And then I saw today another person that's in prison right now, R. Kelly. They're trying to charge him with some more crimes, equaling up to another 30 years. So yeah, it's going to be a long time for any of these people get out. Okay, so this is the last video that I have to show you about the conflict of interest. And she's talking to her attorney friend again. Nicole Simpson was beautiful. She was very beautiful. And she probably put up with so much before all of that even happened.
I know somebody else who gets a little agita when it comes to this, and that's Mark Garagos. And the reason I know Mark Garagos gets agita with it is because he has a lot of high-profile cases in his past. He's here to help me break this all down. Of course, you know him. He's a criminal defense attorney. He's the co-host of the podcast Reasonable Doubt with Adam Carolla. So Garagos, I said there were 2 issues that I found in this whole conflict when it came to Ann Taylor and the 3 parents. Number 1 was that they have to be okay with it, and clearly Kara Kernodle is not. But then number 2, they have to be notified. And that didn't happen either, at least in Kara Kernodle's case. So I want to get you to weigh in on this news, Mark, that they've had this meeting. They've gone through this review process and no conflict, the judges determined. What are your thoughts?
Well, I sent you the other day, Ashley, a op-ed piece that somebody had done in which they had basically analyzed the ethical rule here without giving you any credit whatsoever, by the way, and had said that there really was no ethical conflict. And I couldn't actually disagree more with the analysis. Number 1, I think you've pointed out one key thing, which is you can't do this absent a knowing waiver by the clients. And why do I say clients? Both the current client, who is the young man who was accused of these horrific crimes, and the parents of the victims of these crimes. Now, the one part I will take issue with, and you know that I agree with you on gag orders. I always think gag orders have been inverted. We talked about this the other night. Originally, gag orders were instituted in Shepard v. Maxwell, which was F. Lee Bailey's case back in the 50s, which later became the model for the fugitive. But they were originally to protect the defense. It's been perverted. It now is something that harms the defense, in my opinion. But when the lawyer, Ann Taylor, goes into chambers in camera, meaning she and the judge talk privately, I understand that. I've done that many a times. I will tell you when I've done it in many murder cases, when a client wants to get on the stand and it may be against my advice. Hypothetically, I might go into chambers with just the client and tell the judge this is against my advice, but it's their choice. So I can understand that. You don't want to violate the attorney-client privilege, or at least let the prosecutor hear it. In this case, I understand that. What I don't understand is how there can be a knowing waiver by the victims parents, because I just don't think that there is any way possible that there isn't going to be a discussion of that house, the use of drugs, and people going in and out. I just find that entirely too hard to believe. I don't know if the judge said, okay, if we get to that point, then we're going to do further hearings on this and we'll table it. And as of now, you don't plan on doing it. But to my mind, that is in play. And to your point, that is potentially, God forbid, from the young man's standpoint, he gets convicted and later says, I've got a 2255 writ of habeas corpus, and my lawyer was ineffective because she didn't want to go there, meaning the house,
Sure.
drug use and things of that nature.
AKA ineffective assistance of counsel. We hear it all the time. It's like, I don't know if it's the number one appellate issue, but yeah, if I had a dime, I'd be on a yacht in Majorca. Yeah, it's the number one. I knew you'd say that. Okay, here's the other thing.
It's
Another piece of
number one.
breaking news. Yeah, okay, wait one sec, because I'm going to get you to talk about this one. So the sources that we have close to the prosecution have also told us that the prosecutors in this case are actually in favor of having her conflicted out. And I suppose I get that, because who wants to try a case twice? Who wants to do all that work and all those billable hours to the taxpayers of Idaho, and then, you know, a couple of years down the pike, after they might get a conviction, have it tossed out only to start all over again and put those families all through that again?
Well, look, the cynic in me would say, of course they want her out. She's one of the only qualified defenders in Idaho. So I can see that. But at the same time, the prosecutors have a very, I would say, easy way to raise this issue, which is to file the motion to say that they want the waivers by the respective clients. There's a U.S. Supreme Court case, I believe it's Wood, that specifically talks about what you have to do in a situation where there is a conflict. It has to be on the record. I don't know if that, and we don't know if that was done already in camera or ex parte. Remember, there's two different ways this could be done. It could be done in camera, which means the public doesn't listen to it, and it can be done ex parte, which means the prosecutor doesn't get to get in on this. Or it could be a hybrid of the two. But I would be shocked if the prosecutor hasn't at least filed the motion, maybe redacting what they think or what they think they know. But I'm surprised that so far, and I haven't checked the docket, maybe it's been done, that they haven't filed for this, because the U.S. Supreme Court generally counsels that you do this.
Thank you for watching. Go to
Well, they haven't filed for anything, because I just looked. I just looked under Bryan Kohlberger's case under the Idaho, .gov website, and they updated it on the 17th, but which is today, the summary, but they didn't, put in anything else, any other documents. So maybe we will see something Monday. I don't know. Maybe we'll see something. Maybe we won't. What were they doing before they went to the corner club at 10? I'm not sure. I think they're probably just hanging out at home. Probably didn't want to go to the bar too early. I don't know. That's how we were anyway. They went to a football game that they did summer. They did go to a football game. And I always know that, I guess if it was football season, though, you just always usually go to the bar just whenever. But normally where I grew up, it was a smaller town, and we didn't want to go out too early. Wanted to go out a little bit later, so you weren't the first ones there. You wanted to be cool. Oh, it feels like another life, You didn't get a notification, Pretty K? Oh man, I don't know why. Sometimes it gives them, and sometimes it doesn't. And I think today was it was a weird one. Because when I look them up on my iPad, the way they are numbered, it's weird. Yeah, no one ever went out early. That's what Summer said. Yeah, it seemed like it was all Monday's a federal holiday. No courts. Oh. What's Alec going to do all day? He's not going to have nothing to do but stew. What month are we in? February. Wow. What's the holiday I'm going to ask because I'm not sure what it is and I should know. It's not President's Day. That's January. What am I missing? Washington's birthday or something? Is it one of those? Monday is Family Day in Canada. Well, there you go. Monday's Family Day. In Canada, anyway. I like that. Family Day. That's a good day. President's Day. Oh, I thought President's Day was already passed. I thought it was in January. Wow. I thought it was in January. So Washington's birthday. Well, I think we celebrate that or something. But we celebrate some weird, I feel like not some weird holidays, but just some different holidays over in the U.S. There should be a TitaniumBuilt Day where everybody just gets to relax and do whatever they want. Gets to just relax and hang out. Talk true crime. Cheryl said, what family? That made me kind of laugh because it just made me giggle because I don't have much of a family either. That's why I giggled. Because that's something I would say. That's something that I would say. I'd be like, where are they all at? I mean, I know where they're all at too. They try to sneak over here every once in a while, but we got to fight them off. Yeah, Alex will be gambling for some soup and cookies. So speaking of getting calls on the inside, which that's not really what we're talking about, but Bryan Kohberger, have you guys seen this? He has more than one admirer, and they express their affection for murder suspect online and even send Valentine's Day gifts. So you can do this also. I'll show you in a minute how you can talk to the one and only Bryan Kohberger. This is somebody gave him $50, said Happy Valentine's Day. You know, $50. $50 is a lot of money that you can just be throwing around and you're going to give it to Bryan Kohberger. Maybe you could put that towards his lawyer fees. One subreddit, so if you want to see it, it's on Reddit. I haven't checked it out yet, but it says one subreddit is called Newnation, and it is where one admirer posted the receipt for the $50 she placed in Kohberger's commissary account as a Valentine's Day gift. A small group of men and women with romantic interest in murder suspect Bryan Kohberger have formed groups in social media platforms and even started their own subreddit. That subreddit is called Newnation and is where one admirer posted a receipt she claims showed that she placed $50 in Kohberger's commissary account as a Valentine's Day gift. That user wrote, "Early Valentine's Day gift for Bry. Hope he enjoys it." Bry. That's gross. The comments that followed were mostly from people inquiring how they too might be able to send money to Kohberger. Well, you can send it to TitaniumBuilt, PayPal, TitaniumBuilt. All the money for Kohberger that you want to send to Kohberger, you can send it to PayPal, TitaniumBuilt. I'll make sure Kohberger gets the funds. Groups of men and women forming romantic interest in alleged and convicted murders is nothing new, but social media and sites like Reddit have made it easier for them to congregate in recent years. Recent posts on Newnation include, what was it about Bryan that got your liking? Are we sick for liking Bryan? And do you guys think Bryan knows about us? There is also a poll that asks each member if they were a hybristophiliac. And that's a person who is attracted to criminals. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hybristophiliac. You got the gist. If you're not into criminals, if you're not attracted to them, then you don't have nothing to worry about. You don't even need to know that word. Kohberger is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students: Maddie Mogan, 21, Kaylee Gonzalez, 21, Zana Coronado, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. He is currently being held without bail at the Latah County Detention Center ahead of the preliminary hearing in the case, which is scheduled for June. And then his public defender in Pennsylvania released a statement saying Mr. Kohlberger has been accused of very serious crimes, but the American justice system cloaks him in a veil of innocence. He should be presumed innocent until proven otherwise, not tried in the court of public opinion. Thanks, Guy. So this is what it's called if you want to ever contact your favorite prisoner. It's called Getting Out. I find the irony in that name, because he ain't ever getting out, probably. Just saying, y'all. Just saying. Welcome to America. Everyone's lost their minds. Yeah. Isn't this? Yep. So this is, I mean, I was like, what? So basically, I think it was Ashley Banfield had a guy on her. It was on Newnation last night. I don't know where the guy was from. I don't know if he was a former inmate of a jail. I'm thinking he was. I'm thinking he knew something about something, because the way he was talking about how they're given like iPads of like an iPad device now, but it's not internet accessible. Like you can't just jump on Facebook or, YouTube or anything like that. It's only for making phone calls and receiving phone calls or something along those lines. So I don't know. Oh my gosh, you heard it. You heard us right. Hello, Crime Sleuthin'. She said, Tanya, I'm sorry. Did I just hear you say people can send you money and you'll make sure Bryan gets the funds? Am I high and I don't know it? No, you heard that right. You heard that right. Because these women are calling our friend Bryan. Let me go back up here. It says, so you see the pretty picture too. So they're making the $50 deposits on his books. And they're saying, Happy Valentine's Day. So I said, hey, ladies, everybody just send all that money. Don't put it on his books, because, the cops will take a percentage of it, Well, maybe they'll believe that. And you just send it to PayPal, TitaniumBuilt, and we'll make sure Bryan gets we'll make sure he gets something. They have a questionnaire, yeah. I know they have a whole questionnaire and everything. Tommy said, I think she was joking though. Yeah, no, she knows I was joking. Donate money to the domestic violence advocacy. I thought, you know what? That's so crazy you brought that up. I thought about actually doing that one night a month, where we'll donate the money actually to the domestic violence advocacy. Would be like one place where if like, we would do like once I get a little bit bigger, once we could do like all, like super thanks and stuff. I know that there's a clothing store, because I own a boutique, so I think of that first. But there's a clothing store that does that. It's called Altered State. Their clothing is way too expensive. Don't do it to yourself. You'll hurt yourself. It's too expensive. But once a month, for like on a Monday or something, they'll donate 15% of their profits to domestic violence, which I think is great. But their clothes are really ridiculously priced for what they are, because it's the same stuff that other boutiques carry. Yeah, I'll make sure he gets something. Yeah, something like a receipt that says, I got your money. Come find me. Someone said that he got married. That freaked me out when someone said that Richard Ramirez got married. That's just strange to me. Do you guys really think that these women would go for Bryan if he walked by them on the street and said, hey? Do you think they would give him a hey back? Like our friend Brittany Hislope? I don't know who the other girls are. I'm going to have to do some sleuthing on this tonight, because I found this right before I came on and I was just like, oh my Lord. It really is. Domestic violence support is very important. My sister-in-law used to be she still works for mental health, but she used to be just strictly domestic violence related. And she did it for like 12 years. I don't know how she did that. Because, you're literally seeing everybody on their worst day. She ended up going back to doing hair, so she could just have that fun time for just to kind of, you know, like let loose a little bit and like smile and laugh a little bit. So, do I have anything else to show you guys? I don't know. Yeah, so don't worry about going to Getting Out. I can't even believe that. Who thought of that name? I think so too. I think that Bryan Kohberger knows what he's doing. He's no dummy. I mean, obviously, if he was a PhD student, you can't really fake your way into that. I'm sure that, you know, he had to have some sort of smarts to him. I wonder if anything, let me see if what's going on in the world of Twitter before I jump off here. But I don't think, if you guys know of any other cases you want me to cover too, let me know. I haven't really been looking online or anything to see what's been going on out there in the world. It seems like. And I think that Richard Allen's court date is the 26th. I wrote down March 26th, so I hope that's the right date. Because February had his bail hearing, like this month. But of course, he didn't get bail. Oh, I think I remember about that author doing that. Yeah, I think it's the groupies that are attracted to the notoriety too. I think that's what it is. I mean, if they need something. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, I could look into the cold cases. Actually, there's one from my town where I grew up. There was like 8 women that went missing and ended up. They found them in the creek beds where I grew up, and it was within a year, I believe. Maybe 2 years, and they never caught the guy. Oh, Susie Blue. Sometimes they could be really nice and helpful, but then other times, you know, not so much. But my sister-in-law, she worked as a domestic violence counselor, and then she was a case manager for years. I literally got in an argument with a guy, and I knew that he was bad news, and I ran in and told her, and she was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Within like 3 minutes, she had the ball a go, and she was like, ain't no one messing with my little sister. It made me feel good. But yeah, she was really good at her job, but it really does it takes a lot out of you, I'm sure. Well, you guys made it through another work week. If you don't have to work tomorrow, that's always a good thing. Oh, your sister started to be one. Oh, just tell her, take some time for herself. Make sure she just takes some time for herself and try not to bring her work home. I know it's hard. Because that's just, I mean, really, that would be really hard. I'll look those up. Yeah, I can look up some new cases too. Because we need some new cases. I'm sure Chris Wall, I'm sure he gets fan mail still. That's so weird to me. I mean, I guess they're not going anywhere. They always know what to say. I mean, like, I can't really say anything else about them. That's the only thing I can say. I think that's all I really have for you guys though today. I just wanted to show you those videos that's been floating around the internet. Well, you know, on Newnation. And I think sources are coming out. I don't think that Ashley Banfield is necessarily making any of this up. She might be on YouTube looking for content. Like, I mean, Nancy Grace said she's trolled YouTube looking for content for Bryan Kohberger case. So I can't say that Ashley Banfield wouldn't do the same thing. But I don't think that they're making stuff up at the same time. Like, I can't sit there and see her and like Bryan and like, hey, tonight we're going to make up this story because we need to fill in this time gap. I think that they could just find something else to talk about. Texas killing fields. That sounds interesting. I think that people thought Chris Watts was attractive because I think that it was his cockiness that women maybe thought was attractive. I don't even know what women thought. He gets me so mad. I can't even talk about Chris Watts. He gets me so mad. Vincent's heard all about it. Poor guy. That poor guy. Because he's never even heard of the case, but there's people that are trying to get him out of jail. There are people that are fighting for him and his freedom. And I just think that he can rot for what he did to his 3 babies, one that wasn't even born yet. And I don't know, to put your babies in an oil tank. I just, oh my gosh, a friend of mine your friend to his death? That's crazy. Oh no, Tommy, no, oh my gosh. Where at? What town? What city? I couldn't even imagine that. I wonder did I miss anything good in the Murdoch trial today? I was trying to look stuff up, but I couldn't. I had to get on here before I could look anything up. I was trying to think of what I did watch before I came on. Of course, it's just pulling up my live though right now for me. It's just like, nope, you just want to watch your own live. Yeah, he did look like, he looked like the wholesome family guy that didn't do anything wrong. I just don't know. Let's see. Oh, okay. Was it Scotland? Is that the flag? I was looking at the flag and I was like, I have no idea. I couldn't see very well, so now I know. So is it the defense's turn now on Tuesday? And do we think now Murdoch is going to take the stand? Because I think he would. I'm reading your comments. Really? He looks scary. I've seen him. Oh. Well, we hope you're having a good day too, ALR. That's the Scotland flag. Oh, I didn't know that. Now I do. I saw okay, so the Nicola Bully case, yeah, I think we might work on that one actually. I've been looking into it because I didn't. Okay, so to tell you the truth, I didn't even know about this case a few days ago, probably about 5 days ago. And I had to ask Vincent. I was like, Vincent, do you know about this? And he actually could tell me about it. And I was like, you don't even watch true crime. But he knew all about it. So now because I asked him if I should cover it, and he's like, no. And then he told me about it, and I said, well, now I want to because I'm really super curious. So I think maybe I'll look into that and do a timeline, because that's normally what I do on my channel. I'll do timeline videos for everybody, get everybody caught up with the case, and then we do lives, and then it just makes it easier. That way everyone knows what's going on. I did also just do a tape. I did a update on JonBenet Ramsey. They came back with some DNA and stuff for her. So that video is out, and I'm trying to think. I did 4 or 5 videos the other day. So if you guys want to go back and watch them, they're there. It's still new news. Thank you all for being here with me this evening. I appreciate that so much. Tomorrow's Saturday, so we'll probably do a tomorrow evening live. And then Sundays, we usually just kind of go with whatever. But Saturdays, I usually do evenings. So I enjoyed seeing all of you guys tonight. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me for a little bit of your evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the live. Bye, guys.